This is a question. Uh, how you doing? I'm coming to you live from a secret location, otherwise known as Simon's house. So yeah, let me just see. I'm just going to see if I can see myself live. See if we're working. I think it is. Yeah, I am. Look at that. How's everybody doing? Have we got anybody in the house? That's the question. Let's pull up the chat. So yeah, I've if I can find it, restream chat. How is everybody doing? Let's see if we can log in here. Right, so I thought I'd just jump on, and I'm going to do just a quick sort of five kind of life-saving bass maintenance tips that you can use on the road. Things that I've seen a lot of people have problems with over the years, and they can be like really simple fixes for. So yeah, I just need to get the chat up here, guys. So give me a moment to do that while we see who turns up, because I can't see at the minute anyone. So give me a sec. Hope everybody's well, by the way. Like I say, I'm coming to you live from a secret location. It's Simon's place, so you can see some of his lovely guitars back there on the wall. Let me see if I can just log in here to the restream chat. Won't be a sec, folks. And yeah, there's no kind of like fancy intros and graphics going on today because I'm completely mobile. So I'm hoping that this is working. Let me see. I just need my password. I would have been like way more organized than this, but it's just been mental with the old the COVID thing. Right, I think I might have it here. One sec. So put my details in. Like I say, I feel like I'm on my own, but I know it's live, so I'm not ignoring you. I'm just trying to get so I can see your comments. Let's see if this works. Okay, now I have to click the squares that have vehicles in. You know that thing, the capture thing? All right, hang on. Let's do that. Next. Oh, traffic lights this time. I can't believe this. It's all live, Hey, buses. I don't see any buses. Is this a trick question? Skip. All right, traffic lights. Mad. Verify. Traffic lights. Skip. Okay, yeah, it's okay. Now I have to put a bloody code in. All right, so hang on. This is mad. One sec. This could be a complete disaster. Hang on. Let's try that. Come on, you're going to be joking, man. Oh, dear. There we go. I think that's us. No way. Right. See if... Who have we got then? Who have we got in the house? Who do we got? Let's have a look. There's 9 watching. Who have we got in? There's 9 watching. Are we live on YouTube? That's the question. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. I'll get started in a minute. Once I suss all this out. Like I say, everything's so slick when I'm doing it from home, So we've got right. So I think we're all up and running. So if let us know who's in. Jan's not here, obviously, because I'm down at Simon's house. So I'm going to kind of restart this whole thing. Yeah, I didn't want to miss a Sunday as usual, and I try and do a video at 4 o'clock every week. So today, in this short video, I'm only going to be on live. Hey, how you doing, Ryan? Nice. Nice one. He's saying nice P base. Thank you very much. The blue one. Yeah, so I thought I'd jump on and just kind of share. I've been thinking about this all morning as I've been rushing around, ready to get ready. Sorry, ready to set off for the gig today. Because yes, live on YouTube. Janet Whitley, how you doing, Jan? Yeah, we've got a gig this evening. We're setting off very late because after effects of the COVID and stuff. So we're getting there not too early. How you doing, Ava? Duke of Bockma, how you doing? This is brilliant. It's all working. I apologise for that flaky start. I felt really lonely, So yeah, I'm going to share like just 5 simple little tips. Hopefully there's something in there for everybody that you might not have thought of. Bass maintenance for on the road. How you doing, Steve McGraw? Always seem to be able... Yeah, that was mad. That it was like a sort of like he's on about the captures. You have to click on the traffic lights and bikes and stuff like that, and it just came up with one after the other. How you doing, Victor? How you doing, Fudge? Fudge the dog's here. Simon's dog. I don't know. He might pop in and say hello. Probably not, but he's in the background there. How you doing? Who's that? Quest. God bless 11 a.m. How you doing, Hansa Bass? Victor, I think I said hi to you. Oh, great to see everybody in the house. So like I say, I really didn't want to let you guys down and not do something. So I'm obviously limited for time because we've got to set off for this gig. So I'm going to bail at about hour. Simple answer, no, have fun, bye. What's that? Maybe I'm missing something there. Anyway, so here we go. So this bass, by the way, I've just got it plugged into a little interface. And it sounds all right. It sounds okay. Right, so tip number 1. Here's one. And by the way, if anybody's got any tips like this that they want to share, just kind of things that can kind of get you out of a spot on the road with your bass, it's bass maintenance stuff, please share it in the comments. So the first one is, because these are going to come out in no particular order because they're just coming straight out of my head. The first one is, I've often seen this, and I used to see it a lot with students at college, right, where the strap button, now loads of you will know this tip already, right, so don't spoil it for the others. But sometimes the strap button comes loose, right? It just works its way loose. It could be vibration or whatever. It could be like, the wood shrinking maybe as it dries out throughout the seasons. So the first thing you do is reach for a screwdriver and screw it back in, right? Now, more often than not, when that happens, and I'm sure you've all experienced this, you screw it back in, and the thread's gone, it's kind of, there's nothing left, so you tighten it up and it just keeps going and going and going, right? So the simple fix for that, and it's pretty much a permanent fix, and if it doesn't work, you can just keep doing it again and again, is to get a matchstick, right? And this works, if you're a DIYer, right, obviously you'll know this trick because it works for pretty much anything where you've got like a wooden hole that you need to plug, all right? So what you do, you just unscrew the thing all the way out, so you're just left with the hole, and then you just get a matchstick and you put it in, not the end that you light, unless you're feeling dangerous, and you put it all the way in. This is the way I do it anyway, and I just kind of break it, I crack it over, and then just have it so that it's completely flush. Now if it's kind of protruding out a little bit, maybe you want to just kind of like try and pull it out and maybe cut it with some scissors, or just kind of force it in there. And then go ahead and just screw the screw back in and try to tighten it. Now, if it still goes, if it still spins, do the same again. Put another one in there. Now, this is something I'm talking about if you kind of just like side stage or you're on tour, you haven't got access to a lot of stuff. Just that'll work. A cocktail stick will do the same job, or even I've just used bits of plastic. Anything that you can kind of get in there. If you're at home and you've got more time, use a bit of wood glue as well, and then that makes it kind of more permanent, all right? Now, that tip also will work for bridge screws. So let me just quickly say this, right? Just a thing I do as a matter of course, and I recommend everybody does this, is just now and again, just check that your 4 neck bolts are tight. All right, so don't go mad, but just get your screwdriver and just check them. And often they'll just go like a little tiny bit of a turn. And in my mind, that's obviously making sure that it's making a really good, solid contact with the body. And it's going to help you with stability of tuning and all the rest of it. So the same thing, if that happens to one of these, you can plug it in the same way. The only difference is you're going to have to kind of judge the depth of those. But usually that's not a problem. But I have often found if you've got like a really soft wood body, I'm not sure if it's bass wood, stuff like that, it can be quite soft. This will do the same for the bridge screws. So again, now and again, just check the tightness of your bridge screws. And if they're spinning round and round, then use the matchstick trick. So anybody use that one, by the way? Matches or soft toothpick will do the trick. There you go. Hang on, where are we going then? All right, no, the open strings thing. Oh, hang on a minute. Has it titled it open? Should you avoid open strings? I apologise if it has. I'll have to fix that after the fact. That's really misleading. Okay. So tip number 2 is on fender bridges. Right now, let's see if let me just pull up picture of me. So on bridges like this, where you've got the kind of Allen screw saddles, you've got 2 Allen screws per saddle, right? What really, really commonly happens, and particularly on these like really thin bent metal type bridges, is if you use lighter strings. So I'm guessing like standard strings on a Fender would be like 45 to 105 or something like that. But if you use lighter strings particularly, what you find is you set your bridge up perfectly, you start playing, and it can be as quick as like 5 minutes later because of the vibration and the lack of force because of the lighter strings, these buggers start to drop. So I'd be interested to know if anyone's had that experience in the past. It's happened to me loads. And again, the trick is, so I don't carry this stuff on tour, by the way, but there's going to be somewhere like a chemist or a Boots, like a pharmacy or something, you can buy this. You just want some clear nail varnish, right? Or nail lacquer. And all you do is you unscrew the screws. I do it one by one, and if you could count the number of turns you come out if you want to be really certain, if you're worried about losing where the setup was. So let's say you start with this one, you'd wind it out like, I don't know, 5 turns or something, and then get just a little dot of clear lacquer and put it on the actual thread of the grub screw, and then screw it back in 5 turns to where it was, and then just kind of leave it to set, right? And just go through the process with each of these little Allen screws. And what that'll do, dry mouth syndrome, one sec. And what that'll do, I feel like I should jump into some like Madonna dance routine with this thing on, but I don't want to frighten you. And if so, if you do that with each one, that will completely stop that sort of phenomenon of them, vibrating loose on their own. And it's not such a strong bond that you're never going to be able to adjust them again. It just kind of gives it a little bit of resistance, but still allows you to adjust them. If you want to use the proper stuff, you can use thread lock, but use the lightest duty stuff. The kind of like, is that what you call it? Like light duty, or so it's not going to hold it. You don't want to glue these things in place. All right. So yeah, that's a top tip for the bridge saddles. Anybody had that issue happen? So let's have a look. Tried and tested toothpicks works. Steve McGraw works every time. Yeah. So yeah, I'd be interested to know, has anyone had that issue with the saddles? Because it just, as soon as I bought these 2P basses and put lighter strings on, literally I set it up, and within 5 minutes of playing, the G saddle had gone like that, and so yeah, all sorted now. Real peace of mind. No, it's not a quality thing, Mark. Not at all. I mean, it's just wood is wood, and yeah, it just threads really easily. It's just a thing. And the thing about there's no lack of quality to the grub screws. It's just that without some kind of like if anyone's into like engines and stuff, you'll see that there's always that blue paint stuff that's like a thread lock on a lot of screws. And why manufacturers don't kind of employ something like that, I don't know. But there you go. It's a thing. And I don't, like I say, Mark, I don't think it's the particularly bad quality. It's just, you know, they're made of wood, and you know, anything that's made of wood, you will eventually, you know, get that problem with screws kind of working loose. So that's how we're doing for time. I've got to hurry up here. So that's tip number 2. Tip number 3, and I don't think I'm going to be able to actually show you this. Let me try. I don't know. No, because these are right. So a lot of pots, or let me just put this a different way. I've witnessed a lot of people. I pick the bases up, and you go to like adjust the volume, and it like gets to the max, and then it keeps turning. You know, that horrible thing where there's no, you know, it's loose. And again, I think a lot of people are, you know, really mystified by this. I think they think there's something wrong inside. But what it actually is, it's really, really simple. So with a base like this, I'm going to guess this is a double whammy. Let me show you that pot, and you can see there's a little grub screw in the side there, right? So on this base, all you'd have to do is get a small screwdriver and loosen that screw, and then the pot will just pull off. Now, if you don't see a little grub screw in the side, then they're just a spline push fit, right? So then all you do is just pull the knob off. Sometimes it's really, really hard. I don't want any sniggering in the background, by the way. And you pull it off, and then there's just a little nut under there. It looks a little bit like that, like the one on the jack plug. Little tiny nut. And you just tighten it. That's it. That's all that's happening. Now, you've got to be careful. Couple of things. If you don't have a lot of tools, if you're very, very careful, you can get some pliers, end on, you know, and just grip two sides and just gently turn it. But you've got to be careful. You don't want to gouge the front of your base. But whatever you use, the thing to watch is if you go to tighten it and it keeps turning, stop, because you're going to like wind all the wiring up inside. But I find more often than not, if you kind of just hold the pot gently and you tighten it, or if you just go bit by bit, it will grip and it'll tighten, and that's you done. Just pop the knobs back on. All right. So it's unbelievable how many times I've kind of picked bases up and they've been like this, and it's a 2-minute job just to fix it. Same with the jack socket. If that's rattling around all over the place, it's the same deal. You know, you just need to. You can very carefully get some pliers, because we're talking about when you're on the road and maybe don't have tools. Now, there is a great little tool. I haven't had a chance to kind of share a link. I will afterwards. That you can buy for a few quid. It's like a little flat plate of metal, and it's like a multi-size spanner, and you can use that to tighten up these. But you know, even if you go to tighten it and it's spinning round, it's just a case of either unscrewing the plate on the back, dropping it off so you can hold the inside of the pot while you tighten it, or on a fender base, you could probably easily get away on this by just undoing the screws to, I don't know, about here, and just getting your fingers under, and you know, and that's it. You know, sorts a really annoying problem out in just seconds. So anybody had that? Anybody's witnessed that on bases they bought or whatever? I seem to have lost the chat here. Let me have a look. I seem to have lost the chat. Are we still live? Indeed. Let's have a look. Or is nobody talking to me? I can't tell. I think we're live. So I'm going to carry on anyway. All right. And don't forget, if you've got any tips you want to share, I'm going to say hi here. Just check that you're all seeing that and it's working. There, it's giving it a nudge. Look. You are indeed, says Stripey Fox. How you doing? How are you doing? Right. So the next tip is, I'm going to stay with knobs for a minute. You know, I talked about the type that kind of just push on, right? So has anybody come across this one where the knobs just fall off? You know, you kind of put it back on and it falls off. And I've seen people put blue tack on there and things like that, and it never really works, right? Or it makes a mess. So again, top tip you can just do in a couple of minutes with just simple tools that you'll have on the road or you'll be able to borrow, is, so a lot of these pots, the ones without the grub screws, that's obvious, you just tighten the grub screw. But the ones without, it's like a splined shaft on there, and it's slotted in the middle, right? So what I do is, and these are all things I've kind of worked out myself, is I'll get a small screwdriver and put it in the slot right, you'll see it, or if you like Google splined guitar pot, you'll see what I'm talking about, or you might have seen it already. Just get a tiny screwdriver and insert it into that slot, and really, really, really gently, because they snap, right, just put a bit of sideways force on and just bend them out. You need to only bend them a tiny bit, so just put a little bit of force on, try the knob on again. If it's still loose, go the other way, and just keep doing that. And that's it, sorted, job done. All right? It is. It is. Yes, it is, Lee. How you doing, man? How you doing, Ryan? Let's have a look. Spinning pots before, just retighten as you mentioned. Yeah, it's such an easy thing. And the thing is, by the way, if you leave those pots spinning, right, you're going to bugger the wiring up, because what it's doing is every time it moves, it's kind of putting a little bit of sideways force on the wiring in there. And eventually, it's like that kind of fatigue thing. You know, you'll have connections come loose. Right, so what we got now, that's what's that? That 1, 2, 3. How many have I done? Like I've done the strap buttons. We've done the tightening the knobs. We've done tightening the splines. I feel like I've done another. Oh yeah, and we've done the thread lock. So the other one I was going to mention, just one really quick thing, and I'm actually going to do it on one of these old strings. I'm going to change the strings on this guy when I get to the gig. So check it out. Let's say you need to change your strings and you forgot your snips. Right now, I've talked about this in another video, but check it out. So let's say, right, I'm just going to ruin a string. Let's say you need to change your strings, but you forgot your snips, right? What do? Now, I've seen people do this thing. Right, let's just straighten this out as if it's a new string, okay? Now, I've seen people, I've even seen Mark King do this. Don't know what's wrong with him. Right, where they get the string and they just put it like that. Right, let me show you. See if you can see that. Hang on, I need to see what I'm seeing. So yeah, that kind of thing. You know, they just hang on. There we go. So they just put it through there and just wind it away, and then you've got this bit of string sticking out. Well, that's not the way it works at all. And I can understand why you might do it if you've not got your snips, right? I get that. But so first things first, let's just make sure that everybody understands that that end of the string is supposed to go into that hole as far as it'll go, and then you bend it over and then wrap it round. Okay? So what you normally do is cut them like a few inches, you know, beyond the peg, right? And like I say, let's say I've not got my snips. What do? Right? Really simple, and I've done this hundreds and hundreds of times. Just pick the point, find the point where you need to snip the string. In fact, I left these full length, so I could probably do this again here. So let's say it's there. Just bend it really sharply, right? Let's see if we can see that. And then just kind of squeeze it between your fingers so you got a really sharp bend, like that. Okay? And then straighten it out. And I use my thumb to kind of push it straight there. Right? And then kink it again in the same place. Squeeze it down. Right? Straighten it out again. It's going already. And within a few times, right? There. It'll go. It'll snap. And then you just need to wiggle it like this to do the same with the outer winding. And that's it. It's gone. A clean break. Now, as long as you don't do it, you know, near to where the wind part of the string is, it works absolutely perfectly. Been doing that for 35 years. So yeah, top tip. That's tip number 5 on the road that you can use to change strings without snips. So let's see who we've got before I go. I'm going to have to wrap this up. Still a little bit out of breath with the old, what do you call it? The old COVID. Let's see what we've got here. So Lee, is Simon going to make a cameo? I don't know. He might be watching this. You know, he probably won't do. I can't fault you. But yeah, by the way, I'm at Simon's. These are his beautiful instruments in the background. Secret location, of course. Highlands, Scotland. What we got? Duke is saying with a vintage Fender Jazz, sometimes the springs of the intonation screws start resonating while hitting his ring. Is this for? Yeah, he's talking about the strings here. I've had that on a few basses where they start resonating. It's never, for me, it's never translated that much to through the amp. You know, you can hear it acoustically, so I've never really worried about that one. But I would imagine just a little bit of kind of gaffer tape or something, just a strip over the springs will be enough to stop that. Steve McGrath, I learned that trick on the farm as a young lad when we had to cut electric. Right, okay, yeah, he's talking about the using fencing wire, but doing the metal fatigue thing. This is not an American P-bass, Mark. No, I'm an advocate of the more budget-friendly instrument, as people will know. I've had a few. Interestingly, I had a 70s black USA P bass with maple board and black scratch plate, lovely thing. I had one of my first basses actually was a USA 70s Fender P with a custom jazz neck, and I've had a really fancy one. I had a custom shop, like vintage, I think 50s one. It was like slightly relicked. Well, I'm not into that relicking thing, but this was just a little bit done. And it was a beautiful thing. And I had a few Japanese P basses, some ritual ones. I've had tons actually, but yeah. But I once kind of did a sort of comparison between a really really cheap bass. It was like about £100, and a £2.5 Alembic, and I did a blindfold test. And people either couldn't really tell the difference or they preferred the cheap one. And so after that, I've never really worried about where it's made or whatever. So what we got here now? Love Japanese Fenders, very cool, aren't they? And this is actually a Mexican one. Now I've just admitted I'm not a gear snob at all, but I don't like poor quality stuff. And I think the Mexican stuff was a little bit hit and miss for a long time. I'd pick one up in a shop and think this is great, and then you pick another one up and think like, who the hell made this, right? And this is one of the player series that they brought out in 2018, and they're really, really, really good. Just having a little catch up before I kind of bin this. Janet says, I recognise this headset mic. I'm always telling her off for messing with the mic. This is what she does. You can hear it for yourself now, Jan. Okie dokie. So I'm going to kind of leave it there. Like I say, there wasn't a lot of production value in this particular stream because it's the first one I've done with kind of mobile setup and stuff. But it proves it works, and it's really that's good. So hope everybody's well. I'm finally feeling a little better myself. Just literally the last 2 days where I really felt anything like myself. I don't know who I was the rest of the time. But lovely to see everybody online here. Yeah, that's one. Just play them and see if you like them. That's it. Absolutely. If it is good, it is good. No. If it plays good, it is good. Something like that. That works. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for dropping by. I'll have to change that title later if what I believe is right, that it's titled this stream as open notes versus fretted. My goodness me, I got a lot of flack for that when I actually did that video. So, all right, guys. Thanks ever so much for watching, and I've got to go and do a gig now.